Shot on the track, bud.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I just want to share a few words with you from a lecture by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan titled Justifiable Homicide, Black Youth in Peril. The dictionary's definition of justifiable is excusable because it's justified by the principle of justice. Homicide, murder of one human being by another. When you put these two words together, there has to be a body of persons in a deliberate process that determines on the basis of fact that the murder of this human being is excusable by the principle of justice. Injustice brings its natural response. No matter how long it takes, the justice has to be answered by justice. Jesus said it well. Did he say that those who live by the sword will die by marches? No, he didn't say that. Did he say those who live by the sword will die by massive protests? No, he didn't say that. Did he say that those who live by the sword will die by prayers in front of public buildings and pleading, kneeling, and begging? Did he say that? What did he say? He said those that kill by the sword will die by the same sword that they use to kill others. Justice demands that what a man sows, he must eventually reap. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that justice is the principle of fair dealing. It is the law between right and wrong. Justice is the weapon that God will use in the day of judgment. I want to thank you all for listening, and I leave you as I came before you with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Before our brother speaks, I see some young African-American males here, teens. Just lift up your hand. If you're between the age of 15 and say 21, lift up your hand. Right. What I would hope is very shortly after our brother speaks, I would love to hear from you. What did this, or what does this verdict, this acquittal of George Zimmerman mean to you? And come and speak from your heart. Don't worry about being as eloquent as Brother Muhammad, as dynamic as Pastor D, as spiritually sound as Apostle Graham, or as convincing as this gentleman will be. Just come and tell us from your heart, what does this verdict mean to you? My brother?
How y'all doing? All right. That's what I want to hear. The thing about when I do these speeches and when I go to different events, I've done things around the country right now because when I wrote this book, I had no idea that I would be speaking to people about a situation like the Trayvon Martin situation, for him to get killed that way, and for the person who killed him to just be able to walk away. I mean, for us to sit here and say that we expected that, I mean, just our outrage alone lets you know that we didn't expect that. Now, the title of my book is Guilty by Reason of Arrest. As you see right now, when we're arrested, we're guilty. For them, it's innocent until proven guilty. And when I wrote this book because of what I went through going through the system. And I saw that there was a lot of people hurting from it, families that were being destroyed by their loved ones being thrust into the legal system. And the legal system, as we know right now, is not fair in the least little bit towards people of color and towards people who are of economics that are much below the line of what they can afford when they get caught up in the system. So my thing right here is to just empower people right now to understand that when you see this situation going on around the country, it's not just happening here, it's happening everywhere. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bringing you a message that you have not seen, but I think what this situation has done is made it so where as though we have to start to get more involved in the legal process. You really have no choice at this point. You know, you see right now that these people, I think it's 22 states right now that have this stand your ground law. And right now, the governor just sat down with the kids yesterday down in Florida and said flat out, I'm not changing this law. Okay, so at this point, since he's not going to change the law, it's up to them people down there and us here to get more involved in the process. Okay, so you want to change it, we need to start finding some people that we know that will change these kind of laws, and we're going to get you out of there. So my point is, when I do these speeches, when I talk to different places, and I did a huge event in Washington with Danny Glover, and he's doing a lot of things because he loves what I'm doing with the book and everything. But when I talk and when I did the events with him, he said to me, from now on when you talk, you got to start telling people how important it is for them to get involved in these elections. You see how everybody galvanized for the presidential election? You have to do that local. You really don't have no choice, because at this point, they're letting us know that right now, listen, we're going to keep putting people in office who can keep on making these kind of laws, and if we don't get more involved to start saying, listen, okay, you want to keep putting your people in making laws? Okay, we got to get more involved and start putting people in to make the kind of laws that we need to really help us, because right now these laws are not doing anything but hurting us. The guy said to me, when I was on Power, actually when him and I did the town hall on Power 99, the guy kept calling and he called and he said, listen, he said, are you the Terrence Takeem that was at the event in Jersey, in Trenton? I said, yeah. He said, listen, what you said that day allowed us to register close to 60 people that day. Yes. So from now on, when we have these rallies and when we do these other events, we have to start having voter registration forms there that day. That day, so you can't just go there and we talk and then we leave, but the message leaves with us. We can't really do that. From now on, when we talk, we got to have voter registrations forms that day, and if people are not registered, you got to get them registered. Your friends that are not registered, and you got to start looking at the candidates that you know are there to help you. You can't just go there and listen to us talk and listen to people talk, and then when we leave, the message leaves with us. That voter registration that day, when the kids are there and they're 18 and of that age to vote, you have to convince them how important it is for them to get involved in the process. Because right now, that's why they're locking us up right now, because there's too many of them in position and not enough of us. So the point I want to leave you on is this. I had no idea that this right here, this kind of tragedy would spark this kind of reaction from people. But sadly, this was meant to happen. Because I'm seeing something right now that I haven't seen a lot of places. I'm seeing people come together in ways I never thought that people would come together, and it took a tragedy like this to make us come together. So what I'm gonna say to you today is hug your kids, number one, but also talk to them, and you gotta let them know what this whole thing is about. Like, once again, I just want you to understand that it's important for us to really not just leave these events without the knowledge and without understanding what's important. Right now, the elections are what's important. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I was one of those people who didn't really get more into the election process when I was younger. But I know my mistake, and I will never make that mistake again. It's up to you to keep your kids from making that mistake, and for you as the adults not to make that mistake, because you don't have any choice right now, because you see what's going on right now. It's an us against them mentality. It's crazy that we still thinking like that, but it's an us against them mentality, and I need everybody to really understand it, especially how old are you? 15? You got 3 more years. You know what I'm saying? But you see how we're talking today? I need you to keep this message with you, man, because right now, when you get to the point where as though you say, okay, but what can I do? Don't start saying, oh, my vote don't count, because your vote does count. Right? So just really let's get that unity back in our community the way it was. You know, when the Black Panthers were in power and people of those kind of organizations, these people, they brought us together. Whether the government labeled them one thing or not, they still brought us together. And I think we can do that now. This tragedy is doing that, obviously. We wouldn't be standing here right now if it wasn't for a tragedy of this magnitude. I'm Terrence Takeem, and I'm coming to Delaware with 7 more events with Pastor D. Him and I, we do things around the country together now on a regular basis, and I'm looking forward to really putting something together so we can really start to build that voting block here in Delaware.
How y'all doing tonight? My name is Jared. I'm kind of shy right now, but I mean, it needs to be heard.
Don't worry about it.
It needs to be heard from people younger around my age. I mean, Trayvon right here was only 17. I'm 15. That's 2 years away from him. But I mean, it needs to be heard that it's not right. Someone that just killed someone, and then people gather all around the country to let it be heard and stuff. Like, people need to come together. Like he was saying, we need to get laws changed that's not really working out and stuff. But it's not really right. He killed someone and he walked away like nothing not really happened. But that's why I really.
New Year with Pace on 24th and Chapel. I have a grandson and a granddaughter and a daughter. Well, my grandson was coming home and had a phone, and you know how much the attention these phones can bring. Not only do I want attention to be brought to Trayvon, but the gun laws, the standing ground laws, all that. Well, my grandson was robbed of his phone because the person had a gun and threatened to kill him. Well, fortunately, he turned over his phone. But it's just letting the world know, the intention of U.S. know that it's stupid to have these unconditional laws with guns behind them. And I as a grandmother, want justice to be for Trayvon and every young man and girls too, done. And I want that attention brought to the United States Justice.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Harlan Ralston Jr. My son Holland H. Brown was murdered in 2005 on 26th Street. So that case really has never come to court, even though they say the murderer's in jail. I really don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm really here to represent Trayvon Martin, because I think that's a real tragedy that he was murdered, and the guy that murdered him, George Zimmerman, is free somewhere hiding. What I would like to say is this: we're talking about these self-defense laws, stand your ground laws, but what about Trayvon Martin's right to human rights? Right. What about his right to life? How can you put some laws in that same equation and try to say you got some justice because you had 6 white women find him not guilty or 1 Spanish girl in there? But that's not justice. That's unfair, totally unfair. That's why we're here praying and hoping that they will bring federal charges against George Zimmerman like he needs to be tried by a jury of his peers. 12, about 4 black, 4 Hispanic, 4 white, something like that. Get some justice for us here in America. All right, thank you.
Reverend Dr. Donald Morton.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I simply want to remind us of one thing. It was not more than a couple of years ago that 2 professional athletes were arrested and spent time in jail. One for shooting himself and another for having dog fight. It suggests, look how inequitable the laws are when you can go to jail for shooting yourself and when you can go to jail for fighting dogs. It suggests that the life of a dog, I ain't got no help here. The life of a dog is more important than the life of a young black man.
That's what they say.
Today, across the country, and I celebrate NAM for bringing all of us together. I think what Dr. Beeman said is incredibly important, though, and that is, today is not an end. Today is a commencement. That we graduate to being people that are concerned, not just about our lives, but about the lives of people across the country who are going through this. Never forget this one fact, and that is that this is not a new incident. Trayvon Martin is an incident that was unveiled, got public and national attention, but this happens every single day in America, and it has to stop. So today we stand, all of our clergy, all of our public leaders, to say that now you've awakened, in the words of Dr. Beeman, a sleeping giant. The worst thing that could have happened was that he could have got off. Now that he's off, now we're on. And it's time to do something different. So I stand with all of our leaders that today is Saturday, Sunday, tomorrow in all of our pulpits, we still gonna talk about it. Monday in the barber shops, we still gonna talk about it. Tuesday in the beauty salons, we still gonna talk about it. Because we're gonna talk about it until justice rolls down like water. Righteousness like a mighty stream.
You want to see and acknowledge the presence of D.O. Gregory, the president of City Council, Mike Brown. You want to say something? D.O.?
No, it's your rally, man. No, it's your rally. I want to listen.
Okay.
Let me listen and learn.
All right. Yes, bro.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is John Little, and I'm here to protest because the voting rights has been struck down. All right? Yes. I'm older than most of the people out here, and I was there when it was fought for and got. All right, I was young at the time, but it still was obtained. The same thing happened that's happening here now, people gathering together and joining and making everything work that way. I was in Vietnam when King was assassinated. There was nothing I could do but maintain my life, staying alive at the time there. I'm just reminded of my generation. I was sent to Vietnam, all right? I was a bullet stopper, all right? The young men that's here now, you gotta continue to go to school, get your education, become politically. We gotta make you aware of the political power that you have. This is what everyone here is talking about. We all have to get involved with it. I'd like to thank everyone, all right, for allowing me to speak. All right.
Put up your hands. I want to acknowledge your presence. All the brothers, put up your hands. All the males. I want to say this to my brothers. We need to become more engaged and involved in justice and social action, in the political empowerment, and the taking our communities back from the elements that's destroying us as a people. And I know I'm talking to the choir because you're here, but if each one of us who is here took it upon ourselves to make sure the next time we gather, wherever the setting may be, that I will not be the only brother standing here. I will have a brother with me. Because if the men take their rightful place in our community, you're going to see something amazing and wonderful happen. Amen.
My name is Ron Whittington. I'm a 30-plus year educator, and I've taught from preschool through graduate school. I want every young person here today to pledge to each other that you're going to do the best you can in school.
Yes.
The best you can, no matter what level you are. You got to do your best. Education is our only way out. Education. I had a chance this summer to work to do a project out at the Boys and Girls Club, out at Frames. And I saw young men and young women very excited about education. But when I walk through the streets when I drive up and down Market Street, or I drive up and down any street in Wilmington during a school year, and I see young people sitting on the step when they should be in school, it makes me cry. It makes me cry. You have to take your education seriously. I want each one of you young people and you older people to pledge to each other that you are going to take education seriously. You're going to go back to school. You're going to try to do some of these programs. They're almost free at places. Almost free. One of the only nations in the world where education is free, and we're not taking advantage of it. We're dropping out of school at 15 years old. When I go over to Sarah Powell and I see these young men now that are trying to get it back, when I see them trying to get it back, they have lost 10, 15 years of their lives because they dropped out of school at 15 as soon as they could, because they felt there was no hope. Education is hope. Education is the way. Take advantage of it.